So apart from what we have spoken about, like which we can bucket under the umbrella of work, can you share something personal about you which most people are not aware of?
Yeah, I think many people know me, though. I know I'm a dedicated sailor. I spend a lot of time sailing. We're actually about to move right now here in Copenhagen, but we actually moved onto a sailboat now for a couple of weeks during the summer with the entire family. And I think connecting that to leadership, I think that's the best thing when you are being stressed about your leadership or work. Too many things get out sailing because I think it's the same thing as you do in mindfulness meditation, some kind of sports. You have to be concentrated on something where you cannot let go of your focus. Because if you're out sailing at sea and it's a hard storm, if you're maneuvering in a harbor or whatever, and you take your focus, if you pick up your phone then and start checking your emails and you lose your focus, you will have a big disaster with the boat, most likely. So it sets you in like a mindfulness position where you're completely focused on the weather, what's happening there and so on. And so I think especially like when I'm working very hard and having challenging leadership roles, I think that's a very good way of getting out and disconnecting from everything else.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think as a metaphor, I think there are other parallels also, right? Because when you are sailing, yeah, you have to adjust to the situations around you, like the wind, the speed of the wind, and you
Yeah.
can still go wherever you want to go, but you cannot dictate your terms, right? So how does that relate to
No.
leadership? Because many times leadership, like people see it as having control or directing, but I use these words like many times navigation more appropriate to leadership. So how do
Mm.
you see that maybe sailing as a hobby or as something which you do has helped you become a better leader or letting go of that control and more navigating and more guiding people?
I think it's definitely a very relevant parallel, but also I think I can deepen that a little bit and take experience from when I was working as an officer at the Navy. And when you are in the Navy, perhaps opposite to some other areas of the armed forces, you are sometimes for a long time, you are a small society of people being put together out at sea and you don't have anywhere to go. So you are really dependent on each other. And I think that is also parallel to it when you're running a big corporation. You can give orders because you have the legal right to give orders if you are an officer with others. But if they don't trust you and if they don't believe you and if they have other conflicts, the people around you that is affecting what you're doing, the output is not going to be good anyway, even though you're giving the orders. So I think I've learned that quite early, and I had some really good officers above me who are, I would say, very sensible human beings with a lot of empathy and still an ability when we are having a tougher exercise, the weather was bad, or we are being under attack or whatever, he could take quick decision, everyone trusted them. But between that, they could see the human behind you and they could sense if there was a conflict. It could be a family matter at home, it could be the two colleagues having an argument or whatever, and they were very quick at grasping that and sorting out all that areas. And I think that's also, when you're sailing and being at sea, you talk about being a happy ship, and it's very much about that, for understanding each other, being together. And I think that's same in an organization and company as well. So it's like a little bit society in miniature. And also, of course, being a captain at the ship is also being a CEO of a company, but actually people are dependent on you with their lives, and they cannot go home at 5 o'clock and be with their family because they have to stay with you overnight as well and be tired and grumpy and seasick and whatever. So it's a good exercise.
Yeah, thank you for sharing these parallels.